Brother,
Yo,
what is this timing? What is this timing? First of all, yeah, what is this timing?
I actually haven't been at home. I've literally just got home 5 minutes ago to run around and
Where
get
were
everything
you?
sorted. I was out. I was actually working, so I do like graphic design and some
Oh, okay.
video editing and stuff. So I was out. I was out on a job. I've literally just got back.
So how's it over there? What's it like? What's the whole situation like?
It's alright. There's not much. There's nothing going on in terms of like DJing.
Yeah,
But obviously everyone's still trying to keep their social media alive, all their venues and stuff. So that's what I've been doing. I've been basically content creating for a couple of venues and stuff.
yeah.
So going out, filming, doing their flyers, animating shit, that kind of stuff.
What's the bite saying? Like, what's it like over there at the moment? Is anything gonna open soon?
Your guess is good as mine. Like literally everything's shut. In terms
Yeah.
of like nightlife, like the shops and stuff are open, but in terms of nightlife, um, no one's really got a clue.
What's
We're all
happened
kind
with
of
the
just
what's
sat
happened with
here.
the shisha bars? Like, I heard they closed that as well.
They closed that a while ago. I don't think they're open yet. At the minute, it's just kind of restaurants and stuff. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that stuff's open yet.
But how you been keeping yourself busy anyway? Like, you're working and what else you're doing?
That's it, man. Just working. I'm still doing my best to just stay busy. So just a lot of content creation stuff.
Yeah.
If not for myself, then like I said, for other people. That and just kind of, I'd like to say practice. I'd like to say practice and production, but I haven't touched any production the whole
Mm.
time since lockdown
So
started.
basically, now
I
you
haven't
said that
really
you gotta go
practiced
do
either.
it. You gotta go do it now.
Yeah, like that's I actually need to practice. That's one of my worst habits is I actually don't do any practice, which I should do. That's not something
Yeah.
to brag about. Like I actually need to practice. I want to try and get in a routine where I'm doing it like at least a couple times a week.
Mm, mm, mm. So what is it about production that you like and enjoy about it?
I'm still kind of new to production. I mean, I started production properly probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I like it, but it's not my passion. That's why I'm not heavily like in the studio and stuff. Like my passion's DJing. So
Mm, mm.
if it's what I like about production, it's the part of making my own music, but then playing it. But the playing in part isn't production. I like playing it because I like DJing. The
Yeah.
production is kind of a side hobby. I don't take it too seriously. I make tracks and I throw them out for free. I never really do much on that side of
Do you think
things.
it helps your set a lot with like making mashups or making other things like that?
Not really. Me personally, nah, it doesn't make any difference to my set because a lot of the remixing and mashups and stuff that you would hear in a set I do live.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nothing that's pre-made or pre-recorded. So no, it doesn't make any difference to my set other than hearing your own song
Yeah.
in a set and watching people's reaction. That's the part that obviously goes down well. That's the part that I like.
So going to your career, well, how did you start DJing?
So I think this is my 10th year, 11th year
Okay.
DJing. I started when I was at university. I kind of started by accident. I was a club promoter for probably a year before I even thought about DJing.
Okay.
I only got into DJing to save money. I was a club promoter paying for DJs. I didn't want to pay for DJs anymore. So I just taught myself and then kind of went from there. Taught myself and then realized actually it's kind of fun
Yeah.
and the money's way more consistent than being a club promoter. So I just kind of transitioned that side.
So from then on, how have you become to this? Like, what's been happening in between? What was your first clubbing gig, and how have you kind of progressed?
I kind of got lucky with my gigs because I was a club promoter before I was a DJ. By default, I knew all the club owners, every club
Yeah.
owner in the area. So when I did make that transition from being a promoter to a DJ, I already had all the ins, so I didn't find it difficult. I had to step up. I didn't find it difficult to get gigs.
Yeah.
So yeah, just started doing a lot of local gigs, a lot of local residencies, and then slowly started branching out around the UK. I'm from London, so a lot of my sets were in London and Essex, and then slowly started branching out to the likes of I think I've done Manchester, Newcastle, Belfast. Where else? Bristol, I did a couple of times. I did Brighton. I had a residency in Brighton as well. I was
Okay.
kind of up and down the whole place.
So why did you move to Dubai for seasons and stuff like that? What was the reasoning behind it?
I never really did. I never really moved for like I live here permanently. It's
Okay.
not like I'm doing a season or anything.
So,
And I
but
never really
did you
tested it
move
out.
like before? Did you just move? Did you want to just move for permanent, or was it just for a season idea of
No,
thing?
it was always a permanent. It was always a permanent thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading. I'm reading I'm getting my WhatsApp notifications on the phone, and I'm getting WhatsApp by people that are watching it.
Oh, okay.
um, no, it was never like a season thing. So I did again when I was in the UK. I got booked for a gig in Dubai, so I flew out
Yeah.
here, and I did the gig, and I just liked it. And I thought at that time, for me in my kind of personal career, I'd done everything I wanted to do on my circuit,
Hmm.
and I was kind of bored. I was just doing the same clubs all the time,
Yeah.
and I thought, right, well, I quite enjoyed my set in Dubai, so let me give it a try. So yeah, I kind of moved it after that one set. I think maybe like a year later, I moved over.
Has it been the best move for you, or do you think staying in London would have been the best idea for you? Or
Nah, for me, it's been the best move in terms of my gigs have stayed the same. So before, this is what I would say to people. I was always based in London,
yeah,
but I had a lot. It got to a point where I had a lot more international gigs than I had local gigs.
yeah.
So it was a case of I live in London, but I'm flying out. My base is London, but I'm flying out and doing all these gigs kind of all over the world.
Mm.
So I kind of just picked up and put it here. So now I'm based in Dubai, but I'm still doing the same gigs that I would have done in London or
Yeah.
Spain or France or whatever. So it was a good move for me because I still kept my other gigs and I just added kind of the Dubai network onto that roster of gigs.
When you moved to Dubai, was the competition easier than it is now in terms of DJ, or is it
So
still the same?
when I moved to before I moved, I spoke to a couple of DJs.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it's hard to break into the circle here. You might struggle to get work, blah, blah, blah. And I said to them, what difference is that to someone who's not from London moving to London and trying to break in there, or trying to move to Belfast or trying to move to Manchester? I said, it's the same anywhere you go. So it wasn't any more difficult than I expected it to be. Not to
Yeah.
say it was easy, but it was exactly how I expected it. As in, you start from the bottom, you're starting from scratch. You start from the bottom up, and you hope that your CV kind of elevates you and pushes you a bit quicker than others. Yeah, which it does. It helps. Yeah, so you hope that your CV kind of pushes things a bit quicker, and then you use your networking and the actual ability to DJ to push yourself through. So it didn't take too long to kind of find my feet over here.
What is it about Dubai that makes like the nightlife different to other cities and countries?
For me, there's just more of it. There's stuff open. You've got the capacity here to DJ or to go out 7 days a week and 7 nights a week. I don't know many other places all year round, and I don't know many other places that have that opportunity all year round. You get it in the likes of Spain for the summer season, or anywhere else you go in Europe. You get it for the summer, but through the winter, there's not much else. There's not much else going.
How is it? Your kind of crates must be massive now, kind of DJing in Dubai, because I know it's a very international country as well, city.
It is, yeah, it is. I picked up a huge French database that I never had. One of my main residencies is at a French club, so I picked up a load of French music that I never had before. Which is the timings. Before I moved here, I was DJing in France a lot.
Yeah.
So I wish I had that catalogue when I was DJing back in France. But then I picked up a load of French stuff, Spanish, Arabic. So yeah, you expand a lot quicker. A huge sound here is Afrobeat, so I've had to expand that library a bit more than I was back in the UK, because at the time that wasn't a huge sound in the UK.
Yeah. I mean now, it's coming up massively, but probably before you moved and everything, it wasn't as big. Like still in the West End, you wouldn't hear proper bashment Afrobeats anyway.
Yeah. A long time since I went to the West End. Years since I went there.
When's the last time you were back in London?
Before obviously all this, I'm in London a lot. Like before all this, I was in London at least once a month, doing a gig once a month. sometimes every 2 weeks. So I'm spending. A lot of people don't know I live here because I'm always in the UK.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I'm in London a lot, but this is the longest I've been here nearly 6 months now. It's the longest I've stayed in one place for a long, long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You must be trapped that, but you must enjoy that. I mean, even though you're still working, it's still a kind of break for you in that sense. I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
loving
you're.
this break. I'm loving it. This is
I can
obviously
tell you look chill, bro.
it's
You look you look like you're on holiday, man.
the, I feel like I'm on holiday. Like literally before this, I love what I do, so I didn't take any breaks. I was DJing in the week probably 10 sets across the
Mm,
7 days. A lot of them would be packed into the same day, so I was never working 7 days a week. But in
yeah.
one day, I could do 3 or 4 sets. I think for 2 years straight on a Friday, I DJed for 12 or 13 hours. I'd start at 1 p.m. and finish at 3 a.m. for two years
Yeah.
straight. So for me, this is a big break for me, a holiday that I never would have taken. If I wasn't forced to do this, if I wasn't forced to be home, I'd be out working now. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
holiday that I wanted, but I never would have taken.
So a lot of people and a lot of up and coming DJs obviously want to get these overseas bookings and stuff like that. Like, how hard was it for you, or was it easy because you knew the right people? And what advice would you give them?
The overseas stuff was harder for me. Like I said, the local stuff when I started, it was easy. I knew everyone.
Yeah,
So it's kind of easy to get local gigs. The overseas stuff, as every DJ, I wanted to do, and I couldn't figure out how to crack it. And what I did actually, I just started flying a lot of places for free myself. The reason why, though, a lot, but some people don't know, the reason why overseas gigs are harder to get is because the promoter or the club has to invest more money in you. They have
yeah,
to
yeah.
pay for your flight, they have to pay for your hotel, then they got to pay you a wage. That's a big chunk of money, and it's a lot cheaper for them to just get a local DJ.
Mm,
So I thought to myself, right, well, you kind of need to invest in yourself as a DJ. So I thought, right, I'll pay for. I'd say right at the beginning when I first started, I'd say like, I'll pay for my flight, I'll pay for my hotel,
yeah.
just pay me the DJ wage, and then I'd treat it as a holiday, because I knew, like I said, you got to invest in yourself. I knew that right, I'm shelling out £500 for this flight and hotel, but I believe I'm going to do a good enough job that I'll get a phone call to say, can you come back for me next month and month after
And
month after,
and then I'll pay
and
for
that's
you.
how yeah, and then I'll actually pay for everything, and that's how I
Yeah.
treated it for the first year or so, and it kept rolling, and it worked out.
So
So
what advice would you give
that's
them?
the way I did it.
So what advice would you give to
I
up
would
and coming
say
DJs?
the only advice I can give is the way I've done it and the way it works for me. I would say if you actually believe that you're worth the money and that you're good enough,
Yeah.
go do it for free. Go say, look, I'll do you this set for free because I know that when I'm done, you're gonna want me back and you're gonna want to pay for me.
Mm. How do you find like the competition though in general? Like obviously the game is very oversaturated. I don't know how it is in like
It is,
Dubai,
yeah.
but I think maybe it's still the same in Dubai as it is over here. Maybe in London it's
It
more.
is. It is oversaturated here. That's kind of a given. I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine, my old housemate, who's another DJ. He's lived there for
Yeah.
10 years, but he's been DJing for 25 years. We had a chat and we were kind of both on the same wavelength because we always said, so you obviously get, it is oversaturated and you get these kind of older DJs that have been around for a while complaining that there's new DJs coming through and it's too easy to learn how to DJ now. They're not using turntables, they're not using this, not using that. They're using their laptops, they're charging less, they're coming in and stealing the gigs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, me and this other DJ were like, yeah, but so what? if you're, for me, if you're able to come in as a new DJ and take my gig, then you deserve it. because
But not
I
like
don't
it's
believe
that
that
as well, but also you did the same for the other people, you get me? For like each generation are doing the same thing. So like the older DJs did that to the older
100%,
DJs. So
100%. Yeah, exactly. So it's a cycle.
yeah.
If you can come in and do a better job than me and take my set, then you deserve my set. So it might be oversaturated, but if you're working hard enough, you'll get to where you need to be.
Okay, going with that, do you think you've got to the level, even though you're probably still every day you're learning something new, but have you got to the level where you don't think these up and coming DJs may take your set?
No, I wouldn't say that. You'd fall into the trap of it getting a bit like complacent and
Hmm.
arrogant if you thought no one can take my set.
Yeah.
Um, you have to have a kind of a balance between confidence, but also knowing that it can be pulled from under your feet at any minute. So, like
Hmm.
I said right at the beginning, I don't practice because I don't have the time, but I know I should.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't sit back and say, no, I'm not going to practice. I'm cool. I'm the best in my club or in my area. No one's going to come take my work. You need to just stay on top of your game and be practicing and putting the work in all the
Yeah.
time.
Definitely. What's the best club you've DJ'd in?
Best club.
Be careful what you say, innit?
I don't
You
know.
chucked out
I
your
enjoy it.
residencies.
I've done. Honestly, I enjoy it. I rarely, at the stage that I'm at now, I rarely
Yeah.
take a gig that I don't want to do. So I enjoy all my sets. I pick my sets carefully, so I enjoy all the ones I do. I love doing. I did a couple of gigs. I used to do quite a few regular gigs in France. A club was
Yeah.
called NH. Loved it there. I do Dre's here, which is one of my favourites. It's a smaller club in Belfast that I do quite regularly. I love that. And then I had a residency for a couple of years at a club in Essex in Colchester.
Yeah.
And I love that. As only a smaller club. I love that. So they're all different. You can have huge clubs, tiny clubs. I genuinely enjoyed all those,
Mm.
all those gigs.
With
So
with
I don't necessarily have a favourite gig.
with Dre's, is it easier to kind of go to Vegas Dre's, or is that is that hard? Sorry, not yeah, is it yeah, Vegas Dre's?
What as in are they linked? Is it?
Yeah, like is it easier because you're a resident there, or because you DJ there, to go to them and be like, well, I DJ in the Dubai one?
I actually wouldn't know. I've never attempted to. I've never tried to DJ in the Vegas one, but I have been to the Vegas one before.
Yeah.
They're different owners. They're different owners, different clubs, different music policies, different managers. So I don't think it's as easy as just you're a resident of one, so you can step into the
Mm.
other. It might help if you're able to get yourself a meeting with the manager. It might
Yeah.
help to drop that. Yeah, I'm actually already working for the brand, but it's that manager's choice whether he wants to say I don't give a shit or yeah, let me hear you out kind of thing. So I don't think that helps in any particular kind of way.
So in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself still living in Dubai, or?
Yeah, I'm here for the long term. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I suppose just to progress with my the DJing will never stop. Just to progress with the kind of level of sets that I'm doing. So yeah, so I do a few festivals a year, but I want to be able to raise that and do festivals
Yeah.
all summer. Let's say instead of doing 2-3 festivals a year, I want to be booked out the whole summer
Mm.
on festivals. I tour, I think, twice a year around Europe, but I'd like to be able to do like a world tour, let's say,
Yeah.
once a year, rather than kind of 3 mini tours where I pack all the European gigs into like a month. I usually do it in. So yeah, I think the goal is to kind of just expand on my skill set, ability, practice, and also expand on the kind of sets I'm doing.
Hmm. In your opinion, do you, do you think Instagram followers are a big thing, and do you think following is a big thing?
What do you mean following? Oh,
Like
what
your
as
following?
in my following?
Yeah.
Instagram followers. That's a funny one because it's a very big part of it is vanity metrics. Like it
Yeah.
makes you feel better if you see you've got X
Mm.
amount of followers. It makes you feel better. It doesn't actually mean anything, but at the same time, perception is a huge thing in our industry, as you probably know.
Yeah.
So if a club is out on the lookout for DJs, especially in Dubai, if they're out on the lookout for DJs and they see a DJ that's got 100 followers and a DJ that's got 100,000 followers, without even listening to either of them, they'll pick the 100,000 guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that will only get you. That will only get you so far. That may get you into the club. That's not going to secure your residency if you're not a
Mm.
good DJ. So it'll only get you so far, but it helps. But I don't think it's not a big thing. Following is that's a different thing. Following
Yeah.
does matter. That's part of your brand. If you work, you need to be able to work on your brand to expand it to the point where people hear your name or hear your brand and they know exactly who you are, what you're about, where you're gonna play and what to expect. People will rock up at my gigs and they'll know. Well, I've heard Nana here, I've heard him there. I know exactly what he's gonna play. Like I know his set, and I'm here because I like his music, kind of thing. That's a big thing. So following helps with the club bookings as well.
Definitely.
If a club knows that they book you and they're gonna get 50 girls with your name on the flyer, then they're gonna book you over someone who brings nothing to the table. Bro. It's not. I'm talking about you. I'm not even talking about me.
What do you mean, bro? That's more you, man. That's more you. Living in Dubai, selling girls' dreams like come to my house in Dubai. You know, every girl wants to end up in Dubai, innit? But how hard was it for you to get following? Was it quite easy because you had a lot of sets here and there, or did it take time for people to?
The funny thing is the easiest way to get a following I found was not to be jumping around like doing a set here, set there. It's quite hard to build a following, in my opinion, by doing that. I got my biggest following from my residencies. When you're in one venue week in, week out, you've got the same people coming in week in, week out, and they love your music. That's when they start following you and they start asking for you. Have a week off. They're asking the management, well, where's the DJ? Where's the guy who's usually here? That's how I built my following from all my residencies. And that's the way I've done it the whole way through. The residencies build your following. The hopping around and big gigs builds your profile. They're two different things, but you need to be doing both of them to kind of intertwine and grow as a brand, I think. Yeah.
So talking about branding as well, do you look to branding as a big thing as well? And if a DJ's branding isn't on point, do you take them seriously or not seriously? Or
branding for me is such a huge thing, like such a huge thing. Whether you're a DJ or whether you're a gardener, it's a huge thing. It's what's going to sell your product. If you're selling a DJ set, if you're selling a lamp, like it's what's going to sell your product. There's been so many times where a club has asked me to DJ, and I like the club or whatever. I've accepted the gig. They've sent me the flyer, and I've looked at it, and I've thought, there's no way that's touching my Instagram. I'm not posting it because it just doesn't fit my brand. It's just a horrible piece of work, and it doesn't fit my brand. And I tell people that all the time. I tell clubs. There's been times where a club will send me a flyer, and I'll say to them, I'll make you a flyer. I'll do it for free, and I'll post it because I can't post that. I think branding is huge, and people need to kind of respect how big it is. If you don't, you'll trip up later down the line, and you'll have to go back to square one with your branding anyway. You have to start again. You have to rebrand, which is a nightmare.
Have you rebranded before then?
No, I've never rebranded. I've changed my logo a couple of times, and I'll probably change it again soon. But no, I don't think I've had to rebrand. My music style has changed and evolved. I used to be, when I first started learning, I was just a house DJ. I could only mix house. I couldn't even mix anything else. So I was a house DJ for a while. Then I got into open format. So then I went just R&B. I didn't play any house.
Yeah.
And now I play both. I play not even both. I play everything, any genre under the sun. So kind of, I haven't changed my brand, but I've just kind of evolved it, and just to let people know that actually this guy can do everything, and he's not just in kind of that lane or that avenue.
So when you were a house DJ, did you find it hard getting urban sets? Even like when you started becoming multi-genre and open format, did you still find it hard to get the urban sets?
I didn't find it hard. It was reverse. I was getting the sets before I could play it. That's why I decided to learn another genre. I'm getting asked to play hip hop and R&B, and I don't have the library and I can't mix it. Yeah. And I'm thinking, shit, I need to go back and learn. So I didn't necessarily find it hard. I think you'd find it hard the other way around if you were a hip hop DJ and you're trying to get house sets.
Because some people were saying that as well, that they no one takes you seriously if you're a hip hop DJ, and then let's say you would go to Love Juice, and to get sets there or try to get into there, and they know you just play hip hop or your main genre.
Yeah, it is tough. People are kind of you can end up pigeonholing yourself, and people will assume you can only do one thing. And then you might, in some people's eyes, lose credibility because you play a certain kind of genre, or you don't play a certain kind of genre. And I slowly, years ago, I kind of started to believe that and fall in the trap. And then I decided, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to play what I want. I love all these genres of music. So why am I only going to play one? I'll just play what I feel like playing.
Yeah.
And made sure that my brand kind of reflected that, so that I didn't get stuck in a certain way. So yeah, it can hurt you, but I think you just got to do what you're good at and what you like doing. You're only selling yourself. You're only selling out if you're playing music you don't like.
So you were saying before that people know your sets and people know like what you're gonna do like here and there, but what makes your set actually unique compared to other DJs?
I don't necessarily. Okay, so the way I see it is every DJ on the planet has access to the same songs. There's no song that you can get that I can't get. There's no song that I can get that you can't get. So you have to be able. It's what you do with the tracks. Otherwise, we're all going to have the same set. We can all hammer out a main set and play the top 10 tracks of that month and hammer the same main set. So what I try and do is I rarely listen to. I don't listen to the radio that much, so I never know what track's banging at the minute. I only even know what track's banging because I'm in the club. I've been to the club and I've seen the reaction. So I just download music that I like the sound of. And then if I know that it's too new to be popular, I'll get that, let's say, instrumental, and I'll hit it with like an a cappella that I know that people love. So I'll slowly introduce the tracks that way.
Yeah.
My kind of live remixing is the way that I'm able to, I try and stand out. My main thing is when I do a set, so let's say there are 10 DJs on the lineup, but when I do a set, I want to be able for everyone in the club to know that I've started DJing without me having to touch. I don't use the mic anyway, so without me touching the mic, you need to know that I've started DJing.
We were discussing this yesterday as well, like with Max Denham, he was saying like how do you get people to know that it's you without even having to drop a bomb saying it's DJ Chris or DJ whoever, or having to drop anything like that. So I think, it's a lot to work on that side of things, because nowadays, obviously, everything's oversaturated in that sense, and you gotta try find a way to be unique.
Yeah, 100%. And it is tough. It's tough to be unique because, like I said, everyone's got access to the same equipment, the same music.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how much you love it and how creative you are as a person. There are certain DJs out there that are sick with their wordplay. There's certain DJs out there that are sick with their scratching. There's certain DJs that are sick with their loops. You just got to find your niche, your kind of route, and stick with it.
Yeah. How long did it kind of take for you to get your niche?
I don't know. I actually have no idea. Before I was a DJ, like I said, I never wanted to be a DJ. I kind of just fell into it by accident. But before that, I always loved music anyway. And I found that I've got an ear to know that the crowd are going to like a song before I've ever played it. Do you get what I mean? So before I've ever played this song, like so let's say I'm looking for music, right? And I download a track. So I've never played it before. I can listen to the track and think, the crowd are going to love this. I just know the crowd are going to love it. And that's kind of, I suppose that's where I think my niche is, that I'm able to do that. So I can play new music, old music, whatever you call it, wherever it falls. But I know that I can play a whole set and people are going to love from the first minute to the last minute. Doesn't matter what the songs. I can play an old school R&B set, and I know that it's going to be different to this guy's old school R&B set, but I'm still going to make sure the crowd loves like every minute of it.
Do you think songs right now have a shelf life?
Yeah, 100%. A very, very, very short shelf life.
So so me and Max Denham were discussing this as well yesterday. So he was saying like, Nice for What? Yeah, when did you last play Nice for What in a club?
In a club, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
But like in Dubai, it's more commercial, right? Though, like those kind of things, if you play it, it will still be all right to play it. Like over here, people wouldn't have the same.
You can play it. You can play it. Only reason I haven't played it is because I forgot about it. Like I'm saying, it's got a short shelf life. When it came out, it was big, it was huge, and I still love that song. I couldn't tell you when I last played it because it's just been lost in my library with all the other songs that will come out.
Is that just because there's more variety or more competition with artists, or
I think maybe I I personally think just the music is more accessible to everyone. So
Yeah.
as a DJ, the music's more accessible. So I can double my library in a month. My whole library that's taken me 10 years to collect, I could double that in probably a couple of months. Whereas I couldn't do that before. You were trailing out, you were looking, you were digging for music. Now I've got, you could be on a record pool and download a couple of hundred songs. Like it's that easy.
Yeah.
Another reason why the shelf life is probably a lot shorter is because how accessible music is to the crowd. So crowd
Yeah.
can, before the crowd would have to jump on the radio to listen to a song, and the song was only big in the club if it was getting radio backing. If the radio were pushing it, that's when DJs would get it. Now you can jump on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, and you listen to a track, and then you can drop that track in a week and just stream another track. And the shelf life is so small that you're now, as a DJ, you're now having to keep up with the pace of the crowd. They're bored of this, of the big number one hit that you played last week. They're bored of it now because there's a new number one hit. So now you've got to get that. So that's why you're recycling songs. That's why you're running through songs at that rate, and that's why they get bored a lot quicker.
Going back with like what you're playing at the clubs, how do you know what to play when you come out of quarantine and the clubs open up? Because obviously they're not getting that. Because you said you will know when it's banging if it gets reaction in the club.
Yeah.
Obviously we're not getting a reaction. So how do you know? How do you gauge it?
For me, this is I think it's a talent. It's a talent that's come out of being lazy with my music. I don't really get the time to download music. I shouldn't really admit this. I don't get the time to download music too often. So, so I'm not really up to date with like the new tracks like that at all. In a bad way. So I don't really download music, and I've never planned a set in my life. I'll just rock up and I'll do 10 minutes of testing the waters, reading the crowd.
Yeah.
After 10 minutes, I'll figure out what kind of sound. I won't know what music they want to hear, but I'll know what sound they like, and from then I'll just freestyle the whole thing. So that's not really worrying me going back into DJing after 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months out, because I'm going to use the same method that I've always used, which is not preparing,
trial and error,
rolling up and hoping
trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error.
That just sounds so bad. If someone's joined in, it just sounds bad.
It sounds bad. Like
it's got you to where you are, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked for me so far. It's definitely an element of laziness because I need to keep up my music, but at the same time, like I said at the beginning, it's very time. Any DJ knows it's very time consuming looking for music, and I don't. When I'm working, I don't have that kind of time. I'm working 7 days a week. If I'll be DJing 4 or 5 days a week, and then I'll be doing my other jobs, my graphic design and my video editing. I'll be doing that for the other 2, 3, 4 days. I don't really have the time to trail through music. And like I said, I've just learned to get by. I've learned to figure out what's working. Obviously, you have to download new music. So I'll set aside one day every 3 weeks where I'm just going through and just getting music. But I accumulate songs. I rarely get all my music in a day. I'll accumulate songs. I'll hear a song in the club and I'll go home and download that one song. And then Tuesday I download another one song.
Where'd you get most of your music from? Or do you not disclose that?
No, I don't mind. Like I said, we all have access to the same music. It's what you do with it. I get a lot of my music from DJ City. A lot of music from DJ City. A lot of my hip hop from DJ City. And my house music, I get a lot of it from SoundCloud and YouTube. Yeah. I find the new tracks on YouTube, and then I'll just go through page after page on Google to try and find the kind of the right track. You see
the French music. Is there a record pool for that, or do you just get it off iTunes or something like that?
There probably is, but I get it off iTunes, or Google's my best friend. Like if I'm looking for a track, the rule is if you hear a track, it exists on the internet somewhere. Somewhere you're gonna find it. So I'll type it into Google and I'll go through 10, 20, 30 pages of after, and I'll find a good edit of that track. So no, I don't really use record pools like that. I know what track I'm looking for and I'll go find it.
So looking back at your career so far, what's been the highlight for you?
I've had some good gigs. It's been funny because I've had some good gigs, but it's not been from year 5 everything was sick.
Yeah.
or whatever. It's been like I've had some sick gigs and it's gone back to normal, and I've had some sick gigs, so they've been spread across the 10 years I've been doing it. I had some sick gigs in like my first year of DJing. I got booked to play in Ibiza, and I was playing at Ibiza Rocks. On the main stage at Ibiza Rocks, which was sick for a first year or two of DJing.
In
And
one
then I
year,
played a couple of their boat parties as well. but then I didn't
bro,
do
in one
that
year,
for like 40
in 1 year, I
years
was
though.
doing my bedroom. I was trying to get IB for like that.
So yeah, like my highlights kind of spread. Ibiza was sick. I've done a couple of gigs in India, which surprised me. Really good fun. China I did last year, which was sick.
Whereabouts in China?
And the festivals. I did Shanghai. Can't remember the name of the club. But I played in Shanghai last September, which was good fun. So yeah, my highlights are just the traveling, the big clubs that I get to play around the world. Festivals always fun.
So, which would be your top 2 places to DJ, as in city-wise?
Dubai, hands down, because I live here. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here. Dubai is right at the top for me. And my second one's probably Marbella, but not because the clubs are anything special. Like, the clubs are good, but it's more the experience we had there. We go as a team of 6, 7, 8 DJs, and the experience we had together. Getting to play music with your mates, you can't really beat that. So you could do it anyway. You could take that same group and you could get us to DJ and flip in Southend, and we'd still have a sick time. And that would be one of my favorite gigs. So yeah, Marbella, because of the guys that I go with, and we'll enjoy each other's company and each other's music as well. So yeah, I'd say those 2 places.
If you look back at your career, is there anything you'd change or differ?
I don't think I've changed anything, you know. Like, my work rate has stayed the same since day one. Like
So
I
I
said
don't know,
to you
is that
before,
laid back or is
It's,
that laid back, or is that actually hard working?
like I said to you, like right at the beginning, I'm kind of half grateful for this lockdown, because I'm on holiday, a holiday that I never would have taken. And my work rate's always been as such, where I'll just work every day on something. It may not be DJing, but I'll work every single day on something. I'll learn something, and yes, I've been doing that from day one, and that's allowed me to it's allowed me to progress. Every year there's been progression, and it's never gone backwards. So no, I don't think I'll change anything at all. If there's one thing I would change, I would have liked to learn production a bit earlier, or maybe even learn to DJ a bit earlier. I'm loving what I do now so much that I would have liked to have started 5 years earlier.
What's your take on DJs not playing their part in a set? So warm-up DJ not doing the right way of warming up the crowd and everything?
I've had that a couple of times.
How did you kind of deal with it?
Personally, I'm not that bothered, because do you know how many millions of songs there are in the world? You can't outplay me. It's impossible. You can do your hour set and play every single banger you want. There's still more music to be played. So personally, it's not a problem for me. But as for like the kind of fluidity of the night, it's a problem. If it's my event, it's my night, or if I'm concerned about how the night's going as a whole, then I'll be kind of like, what's this guy doing?
Would you not play, or would you carry on playing? Like, let's say you arrived at a club, DJ's played everything, well, not everything, but you know what I mean. Like, just the crowd ain't even there because he's played all these tunes that are meant for like 1 o'clock.
No, I'm not famous enough to just not play.
I'm not famous enough.
No, I'm not important enough to just rock up like, no, I'm not playing. No, like I said, it don't bother me, but I'd definitely pull them up on it. I'd say what you did. I'd pull them up on it. But it could be anything. It could be down to inexperience. It could be down to they just don't know how to play the warm up set properly or whatever. So it's not. unless someone's doing it on purpose to throw you off, it's not something you can really do anything about. It's the promoter's job. It's whoever booked the DJ to it's their responsibility to have a word and say this guy isn't right for the job.
Definitely. What's your kind of take on the scene coming out of quarantine? So obviously, do you think that promoters and managers are gonna look more broadly at the whole thing and look at more DJs like up and coming or mid or whatever, or do you think they're gonna stay safe and keep with what they know and who they know?
A lot of the way we get work is through, in fact, the main way. I'd say DJing is probably 30% talent and ability, 70% who you know. So because of that, I don't think a single thing's going to change. We're going to go back, and the same DJs are going to hit up the same managers they know, which is exactly what I'm going to do. The minute I'm allowed to go back to work, the managers that I already work with, they're going to call me up. And if they haven't called me, I'll call them and say, right, what's the plan? Everything's going to stay the same. Everyone's going to slip back into their old residencies, and it will be a case of the DJs that don't have work are going to have to kind of drive their way through again, as always. I don't think anything's going to change.
Do you ever get worried about your sets being taken, or are you kind of...
No, not being taken. No, I don't worry about my sets being taken, because I work hard enough to ensure that it's difficult to take it from me. To take my set, you're gonna have to you'd have to put some real effort in. And like I said to you again right at the beginning, if you've got the ability to come in and take my set, then you deserve it. Like, well done.
So I'm sorry if I take your set.
Yeah. Come now, that's what I'm saying. Come try it. I'll welcome any competition. I worry about losing my set. If a club wants to revamp or shut down, I worry about losing my set, but I don't worry about someone coming to take it. But again, it comes down to also getting along with the people you work with and getting along with other DJs. I have DJs hit me up all the time. I've seen you play here. Can you introduce me to the manager? Can you get me a set here? Can you get me a set here? And I do that all the time for DJs that I kind of work with and I know and I like. And they do the same for me. There's been gigs in Newcastle that I've done that I wouldn't have got unless this other DJ phoned me and brought me in. And there's been gigs in London that these DJs wouldn't have got unless I brought them in. Gigs in Dubai that I brought DJs over for. So I personally don't worry about anyone taking anything from me because I get along with everyone I work with. No one's going to take anything from me. They're going to come and ask for my help, and I'll give it to them, and I'll ask for their help, and they'll give it to me. We'll work with each other, so it's not really a problem.
So, would you want to be an artist tour DJ or a resident DJ, and the artist comes down and you DJ for the artist?
No, I've had my day of residencies. I enjoyed it at the time. Like I said, it's a great way to build your brand and build your following. But it gets boring, man. It gets boring playing the same.
Same set, same day, innit?
It's the problem is, as a resident, you're in the same venue all the time. You know the crowd like the back of your hand, and it's not anyone's fault that you're there and you're good at your job, so you know everything. So you know the same hour set to play. You can play in any order you want. You can change the order every week. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna you're still gonna play the same music.
Yeah.
The same music, and that's why I don't like residencies anymore, and I don't really take residencies unless it's a kind of vibe watch. Unless it's an amazing club or amazing people that I can work with, I don't take residencies anymore.
Okay, so would you be an artist tour DJ?
In terms of following an artist around?
Yeah.
Or headlining your own shows?
Yeah. In terms of following the artist around, you're their DJ at a festival or whatever show they've got.
I mean, it'd be cool, but that's not the kind of set that I play. It would be cool. I wouldn't turn it down, but that's not what I'm looking to do. I've been in the club, loads of clubs that I've been DJing, and the artist DJ comes up. And the artist DJ, all they do is play a very quick 15, 20-minute warm-up set for their artist and then play the artist songs. That 20 minutes, you can't get across any kind of stuff. You can't get across anything you want to do. And then when you're playing for the artist, you're not mixing, you're just dropping tracks for the artist to sing over. That's not my idea of enjoyable DJing. I'd do it for a little while. I'd get bored after a very short amount of time, and I'd go find something else to do. So no, it's not really. I'm happy doing.
Is there a Nana B tour?
I'm happy doing
coming?
Like I said, I tour every year. Every year, kind of usually in May time, I do a European tour where I do. What do I do? So I do Greece, France, Spain, London, Dubai, India, Ireland. So I hit all those places and I try and squeeze it into a month. I'd like to do a bigger one, touch some places I've never played before, like America and stuff. And I feel like this would have been the year that I would have done it, just because of the network that I've been able to build over the past 3-4 years of being here. It's not going to happen this year anymore. So I think when we go back to work, I'll concentrate on kind of finding my feet again in terms of a schedule, knowing where I'm going to be for the rest of the year, and I'll plan my tour for next year. But yeah, the tour is definitely on the cards for next year. I'll do it every year anyway, on a small scale. So I'm going to try and ramp it up and do maybe like a 2-month tour, a 2-month world tour, maybe.
So, bro, I forgot the time, but just to wrap up everything, gotta go get my shroom. Just to wrap up everything. So, in terms of your DJing and everything, and also production, do you kind of see yourself releasing songs into the charts and working with artists, or do you kind of just want to?
My production isn't my priority. It's not my passion. I love it, but it's not my passion. But I've been doing that for a while anyway, and I released my first single last year, which went really well. I released it as the kind of, I made the track 2 years before I released it. I thought, right, this track's sitting here, it's not doing anything. I dropped it and it did really well. Got support from all the major radio stations in the UK and in Dubai. Did really well. So off the back of that, I realized that there is kind of a following for my music. People have been messaging me, asking me when the next tracks are coming out and stuff. So off the back of that, I'm going to work on actually producing and releasing more music.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear a single, another one. I'm waiting to hear one. Have you?
I've got finished tracks.
Where's your single out? Where's the one you released?
That?
Where's the one you released? Is it on SoundCloud or?
No, it's everywhere. So it's on iTunes, Apple Store, it's on Spotify, Amazon. It's everywhere. Hit it in Google. It's called Go by Nana B. Hit it in Google. You'll find it anywhere. Let me know what you think. To give it a listen. I've got loads of tracks that already completed sitting on my laptop, and I'm just waiting to get the time to give the tracks a decent promo run to actually give it some success, because they're good. It's good, in my opinion. It's good music, so I want it to get the kind of exposure that it needs.
But bro, I really appreciate this conversation. We'll carry it on. A lot more to talk about as well. But hopefully I can work with you as well, like in the future. And
man, it was good. It's good talking to you. I'll keep in touch, and let's link up and try and do some work together.
But yeah, stay safe, man. Hopefully everything's going well for you, though.
You too, man. Take care. I'll catch you soon.
Appreciate everyone tuning in. Bye.